Hare Krishna, everyone. This is Yamaraja Das. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Bhakti Tirtha Swami. I want to say something about the coronavirus. I haven't did any posts in a while, but I feel that I must say something about this coronavirus. These are the laws of material nature acting upon the living entities. When we violate the laws of God, then we have to suffer or enjoy, depending on our own individual karma. This coronavirus is nonpartisan, Republican or Democrat, independent, whatever. This goes beyond anything that we can imagine. And we have seen these calamities in history, and history often repeats itself. The living entities comes into this world in different bodies, and if they come in a human body, they're expected to make some spiritual advancement. They can make it through voluntary efforts, or they can make it through involuntary efforts, being punished by the material nature, the material laws. So, for devotees, we also have to deal with these kind of calamities. But we look at it from a different perspective. We look at it from the perspective that we are suffering because of our past misdeeds, if we have to suffer. If we're beyond the dualities of suffering and enjoying, then it doesn't matter, because we will always love Krishna. And it can get difficult sometimes when the laws kick us in the butt. But we have to remain steadfast and continue to chant our rounds. Quite often I run into devotees who tell me that, oh, yes, we can't do it in one lifetime. But we can do it in one lifetime. We have to chant all of our rounds, 16 rounds every day, regardless of whatever responsibilities we have, whether it be in material, or if we have a business, or whatever. If we find ourselves not chanting our rounds, then the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and his disciples, who accepted some of these devotees as disciples, will have to suffer. And of course, the disciple will have to suffer. So, getting back to this coronavirus, it's going to change the lives of quite a few people. And my beloved spiritual master said in Spiritual Warrior 5, we are expected to make spiritual advancement, especially for Vaishnavas. We cannot stagnate. We cannot stagnate. Oh, I chant my 16 rounds every day. I go to the temple. We have to look and see, are we having compassion for other living entities? Are we exhibiting or trying to imbibe the 78 qualities we need to have to get out of this material world? And of course, a lot of us won't reach that mark, but at least Krishna says he carries what we lack if we sincerely endeavor. This time now, we're going to have a lot of time to reflect Don't waste your time by watching movies and things like this. This contaminates the consciousness. If you have time, chant Hare Krishna. If you have time, read the scriptures. Sriman Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, teachings of Lord Kapila. I can go down the list. Read, study. This is what we are supposed to do as devotees, and we can help guide society. I'm hoping that the temples in ISKCON will observe the laws that are put down by these materialistic people about not serving and making sure the temples are clean. We cannot think that Krishna is going to protect us, and Krishna will protect us, but also he gives us the intelligence to move through these situations. We may not be able to eat at the temple anymore until this virus is over. I've observed some devotees that come to the temple just to eat. That's not a good thing. But we all have to eat, so go to the temple, eat some prasadam. But when you go to the temple, try to volunteer some service. If you can't do that, give a class. If you can't do that, distribute some books. And the temple authorities have to be careful, especially now with this coronavirus. Make sure that the devotees who are cooking follow the standards that is given out by public health people. Devotees who are cooking should not have colds, coughing, or anything. And hopefully they have these new marijuana laws out that devotees are not making that excuse to smoke marijuana. Prabhupada was very animate about that, no intoxication. Materialistic people will find any excuse to drink. Since they're closing the bars down in cities all over the world, you can feel the negative energy sort of going away a little bit. I know I can. And I had to personally, I called the governor. Of course, I didn't speak to him, but I left a message, governor of Florida, and I asked him. The message was that when people go to these bars, because he just closed the bars yesterday, when people go to these bars, do you really expect them that they're going to observe not touching things and cleanliness standards that are supposed to be maintained by this coronavirus? Of course not. They're going to be intoxicated. At first, he wasn't going to do it, but then he followed up. Maybe he got so many complaints from people. These restaurants that are serving meat and all this, they're going to lose millions and billions of dollars. This one guy who was a restaurateur, he was on CNN, he was saying that the government should bail his company out because he had to lay off over 1,000 employees. So he says the government should bail him out so he can get back into the business of selling meat. That's BS. And the people in the governments are so covered by the modes of material nature, hopefully they won't bail them out. The people who work in places that sell meat, they don't need to be there. We need to look at these spiritual laws more closely so we can avoid these calamities. because people thinking they're suffering now, they can't go and have their glass of wine or their beer at the bar, or go to these breweries and or these cafes and talk nonsense. But they don't really know that their suffering is coming to them, and they should, while they're given a warning now, to chill out and start really embracing spirituality. This is the message Christian wants to send to all of us. Man proposes, God disposes. A month ago, 2 months ago, the world economy was booming. Oh, the U.S. economy is booming. So many millions of jobs. And if these people are toasting each other, they're stealing money, the rogues and thieves, they're stealing money from the citizens. They're toasting each other. Oh, we got it made. And then one swoop, all of a sudden, it's all knocked out. Stock market dropped 20,000 points. These people are going to lose a lot of money. And that's good. The average citizen, like myself, we might have to suffer, but that's all right. I'm going to continue to chant Hare Krishna, chant more rounds. Last few days since I've been off, I've been chanting more rounds. Chant more rounds and read the books until you're able to get out and distribute. I'm an older fellow, so I have to protect myself and my wife from the disease, so I haven't been out much. So anyway, I'm going to stop there. All of you devotees, take care of yourself. All of you citizens, please use this calamity, pandemic, as a wake-up call to straighten your lives out. Hare Krishna.